Osha Academy Project Management Online Training. My name is Joel and I'm a state coordinator of Osha Safety Course of Delta State, as well as a facilitator and trainer for these classes. Now today I'm going to be introducing into what is a project, what is project management, and its related endeavors. Now, what is project management? According to Project Management Body of Knowledge, PM Book 5th edition, project management is the application of knowledge, skill, tool, and technique to create activities to meet the project requirement. Now, one thing you have to note here is the project requirement. That can also be replaced with project objectives. Now, the reason for embarking on every project is to meet up with a specified objective. So you have to know that for you to engage in any project, there must be specified objectives. Another definition said project management is the application of skill, tool, and management process required to undertake project successfully. And a successful project could also mean project objective. That is key. Whatever word you use in replacing it, it means project objective. And that is the reason you engage in any project, to meet with a specified objective. Now, another word you should note there is the management process. The management process. Now, in carrying out the project to meet with the specified objective, there's going to be a process, and that is called the management process. Anything that you'll be managing to meet up that specified objective. So another definition says project management is the application of knowledge, skill, tools, and technique. It's like process into a temporary endeavor to produce a set of unique deliverables within a specified budget, time scale, and specification or scope or quality. Now, the things to note here is, first of all, the objective, which is referred to as either the unique deliverables or quality, and then another thing is temporary. Now, what you know is a project can be anything as long as it has a beginning and the end. That's what they meant by the word temporary. Now, because it's also going to entail a budget, a time scale, and the scope or specification or quality. Understand? So the management process in a project will entail initiating. Every project is going to come with an idea to meet up with a certain objective. Then you are going to be planning, executing, monitoring the execution and controlling, and then eventually you close that project. So we are going to be talking about all this later on. Then again, let's say, what is a project? Now, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to build a certain unique. All this is also to impress all what we have said before. Now, the things we should be noting here is the budget, time scale, and specification. These are all referred to as a triple constraint. We'll be talking on them later as we move on. Then also you have another definition, which is a simpler definition. Say a project is a temporary endeavor or undertaking to produce a unique product or service. Unique product or service refer to the objectives. So you should take note of that. And another thing you should be noted here is temporary. The word temporary simply means that it is going to take a time scale. As a time scale, it means it has a beginning and an end. Now, when people hear the word project, the first thing that comes to their mind is maybe construction work, building of houses, and all that. But no, a project could mean anything as long as it has a start and a finish. It has a beginning and an end. Anything that you engage in to meet a particular objective at a specific time is called a project. A project could be a wedding, planning a wedding could be a project. Even as little as planning a birthday could be a project. You are overweight, you want to lose weight between a specified period of time, that is a project as well. Even cooking of food could also be a project. So as long as it has a beginning and an end, it is to meet a specific objective, it is a project. So that's what they meant by temporary. Now the unique means what you are going to be producing at the end of that project. Now also the unique would also be mean the things you are going to be encountering, could be a new undertaking. At the end of every project, definitely you are going to learn something new. You could be learning something new in maybe the structure of the building you'll be building different from what you built before. It could be that you are going to be carrying out a project in an unfamiliar ground. Maybe before now you live in Abuja and you carry out most of your projects in Abuja, and then a contract came and you have to come to Delta State to carry out that project. Now you are going to be learning new things. Let's say for instance in Abuja there are no community boys that collect deve or some kind of money in carrying out a project. Now you come here, before you start your building or whatever, you see community boys coming and trying to collect money that they refer to as deve. So all those things are new things. Before now, you've not experienced such a thing before, but coming to a new ground, you now have a new experience. So all those could be the unique as well, the new things you learn in the course of the project you are carrying out. Those are the unique services and products that you may be. Now also, the unique would also mean the objective. At the end of that project, you are coming up with an objective. You are meeting up with a specified objective that may be different from what you have done before. That's why they said a project is a temporary endeavor to produce a unique product or service. So the things you know there is a temporary and the unique. Temporary simply referring to the time frame, while the unique referring to the uniqueness of the objective that you are meeting and the new experiences that you'll be getting in the course of that project. Then, like I said, a project can be a finished product or a component of another item, a capability to perform a service, e.g. business function, a result, e.g. an outcome of a research work, an improvement in the existing product or service line. So all these could be project. A project can be anything as long as it has a beginning and the end. There is a time scale to meet up the specific objective. We are going to be talking about the triple constraint. Now, these are very important aspects in project management. Your ability to manage these three things is what makes you a project manager. Now, we talked about the project being temporary, meaning every project must have a time frame. There must be a time to be between a specific time to have a starting point and an ending point. So that is what a project must have a time. So usually the reason they call this time a constraint, because usually in doing this project the time is an issue. For instance, you could have said you are carrying out a project for 6 months. Now you've breaking down your work that okay, in 1 week we are going to be doing the foundation, another 2 weeks we'll raise the blocks, and all that. You've set out your time and you've seen the calculator at the end of everything in that 6 months the building will be complete. But now the 1 week you have calculated to maybe dig the foundation, the materials for the digging were not made available. You have to wait 3 days out of that 1 week before the materials came. That has taken 3 days out of your initial planned time, and that has added 3 days to the 6 months that you planned. And now it means you are already having a constraint of how to manage those 3 days to fall still within the 6 months. So that's why they said time is a constraint. Now every project has time because it is temporary, from a specific time to a specific time. Now your ability to manage that time is one of the things that makes you a project manager. Another thing is the scope. Now this scope entails everything that the project involves, everything you need to know for you to deliver on that project, to deliver on the specific quality or objective that is required of that project. That is what the scope is talking about. Everything you need to know, every question you need to ask regarding that project to meet up with the specified objective. You need to the questions you need to ask, the how, the why, the where, the when do we start this project, why do we want to do this project, how do we go about it. Everything you need to know about the project for you to be able to deliver successfully on the objective. Take for instance, you want to build a house. Somebody comes to that, I want to build a house. What the first one you will ask? Why do you want to build a house? Which kind of house do you want to build? Where do you want to build it? All those kind of things. Also, you're also going to be asking how many bedrooms, how do you want it? All those things you are asking are what makes up the scope. Now, this is a very vital aspect, because once the scope is not clearly defined, the tendency of meeting up with the objective of that project successfully becomes a challenge. So you have to ensure that the scope of the project is well defined. You are building a 3-bedroom flat. Do you want toilet to be in every room? Or do you want a general toilet everybody will be using? You ask all those questions so that you know what the person, the project sponsor, is demanding and how to meet up with that demand. So it is very important. Now, maybe somebody just come to you and said, I want the best wedding in town. What is the definition of the best wedding in town? So you need to ask questions. How do you want? What are the number of persons you need? All those questions you are going to be asking are going to be defining the objective and make you to be able to meet up with the objective. Once you cannot get clearly the scope of a project, then you go out of scope. And once you go out of scope in any way, it means that project is a failure. One of the reasons why this scope is a challenge is because some persons can't even define their scope. Now, you as a project manager, you have to be the one to define the scope for them. For instance, somebody that comes to you to say he wants the best wedding in town. What is her definition of the best wedding in town? They may not even know. All they want is that they want the best wedding in town. So it will now be you who will define the scope for them. And sometimes in defining this scope, you do one thing, they say they don't like it this way. So it becomes a challenge. This is why it is one of the constraints as well. Or maybe somebody is telling you that he wants immersion with this, with that, within a period of 6 months. And you know that to meet up with those demands that he's saying is not tangible. That becomes a problem as well. Then finally is the budget. The budget is very, very important. For the projects to be carried out, there must be a budget, a financial aspect of it that will be carrying out all the business processes to ensure that that project comes to a successful conclusion. Now, why this budget is a constraint is that most of the times project sponsors always find it difficult to release finances to carry out their project. For instance, we will see all these government officials. These government officials, they will get a project from the government maybe for 15 million naira, and they want you as a project manager to do that same project for 10 million naira. It becomes a constraint. You now have to struggle on how, be creative on how you can use that 10 million naira to meet up a project that 15 million naira was made for. So that is also a constraint. So these 3 things, as a project manager, your ability to manage these 3 things is what makes you a project manager. Your ability to manage these 3 things is what makes you a project manager. Once you can manage the time, you manage the scope, you manage the project to meet with the specific objective, you are good to go as a project manager. Like I said earlier, a project is anything, could be anything, as long as it has a beginning and an end. And there is a scope as well as a budget. There is a guy in Abuja. What does this guy do? This guy, what he does, the project he carries out is to look for a husband for women in need of husband. Now you meet this guy, you tell him, I need a husband within the next 1 year. He will ask you, what kind of husband do you want? Do you want a tall man, a dark man, a fair man? Define the scope. You tell him the kind of husband that you desire. Then he will bill you. You will pay maybe advance, or you pay whatever agreement you have. Now this man don't just don't go and get you the husband. He's going to carry out research. Maybe what we do now, we'll look for a man that suit what you have, the scope you have given, and bring them to you. You select, and then this guy is going to go as far as gathering information from carrying out investigation to gather information to know the kind of lady the woman, the man wants, how he wants the woman to dress, and all those. And it comes to the woman and package the woman in a way that the man will attract the man. And before you see it one way or the other, before you know, these two people have started getting along. Before you know, there is a proposal. Before you know, marriage has come, and that project is complete. You pay, and that is all. So the important thing is, by the time that 1 year that you agreed is complete, he must have given you what you need, and then you pay. So like I said, a project can be anything, and your ability to manage these 3 things is one of the things that makes you a project manager. Managing these 3 things to meet up with the specified objective. And these are also the talking about the triple constraint. Talking about the triple constraint: the time, the cost, the scope, and the quality that you deliver at the end of it. Now, definition of terms, deliverables. So across this project management process, you are going to be hearing one word, and that word is deliverable. Now, what is the word? What does the word deliverable stand for? It's a tangible, verifiable work product. Now, a deliverable could be the outcome of the entire project, or just a part of the project that was delivered. So that is what a deliverable is, either a part of a project that was delivered or the outcome of the entire project. So that's what the term deliverable stands for. And you say characteristics of projects. Now, projects are different from standard business operation as they are temporary, unique, progressive, and elaborate. Now, they are also, every project must also have a budget, like we have said, have limited resources. Usually, most times, resources is a challenge. They also involve an element of risk. Every project must carry a risk. And one of the things you have to do as a project manager is to have a foresight, be able to foresee the potential risk that will be involved in that project so that you can avert them. So those are some of the key things we should know as a project manager. Then have a defined time scale, like we have been saying, and achieve a beneficial change. We're talking about the objective of the project. Then it says projects are temporary, which means it has a beginning and an end, like we have said before. So note, the definite end is reached when the project objective have been achieved, or when it becomes clear that the project objective will not or cannot be met, or the need for the project no longer exists and the project is terminated. So either of these 3 things could be the end of a project. Either when you have met with the objective, or maybe the project sponsor felt there is a need to change. There is a need when it comes to the project objective will not or cannot. When maybe there is a tendency that this project is not achievable anymore, they can also terminate the project, and that says the end. Or a need for the project manager no longer exists, and the contract between the project manager and the sponsor is terminated. So like we said, projects are unique. Projects involve doing something that has not been done before. This means that a product or service is different in some distinguishable from the other product or service. So the uniqueness could be different location, a different owner, a different design, budget, contractor, stakeholder, all those new things that you'll be experiencing and delivering in the course of the project is what the unique is trying to talk about. As a project also have an approved budget. Like we've said, every project must have an approved budget. There is limited resources. Usually, there is always an issue of resources in every project, say include labor, equipment, and material used to complete activities in the project. There are always a challenge in the course of a project and all that. So a project also have element of risk. Risk is the possibility of failure. Project entails a level of uncertainty and therefore carry business risk. Being exposed to harm, 50 chance of success and failure. So there is an element of risk in every project. As a project manager, you are meant to foresee this risk and try your possible best to avert them. We talked about the defined scale as well as the beneficial changes. Now, project versus operation. Now, there is a difference between project and operation. There is also program. Now, a project, like we said, is a temporary endeavor. Anything that has a beginning and an end, a specified time and an end, is a project. So anything that you embark on to meet up a specified objective and it has a beginning and an end, it is termed to be a project. Also, there's what we call program. A program is an interconnection of projects. Maybe there is a major project, and inside that project, there are other projects. Take for instance, before I left Asaba, there is a project going on, and this project is Operation Beautify Delta State. And now in carrying out this beautification process, it is going to entail tying new roads. It's also going to entail trying to dig gutters to channel the waters, that's a proper drainage system. It's also going to entail planting flowers and planting trees and all that, all to make the place beautiful. And also, if you get to Asaba, those stores, most of the stores are being covered with what they call Formica. If you own a store, you must cover the front with Formica, those fine billboard that shop not usually put in front of their shop and write their name. So all in the essence of beautifying Asaba. Now, if you look at this project in Asaba, there are different projects going on in the main project. The project is to beautify Asaba. Now, in beautifying Asaba, we are going to tar roads. That alone is a project. Then you are also going to be doing a proper drainage system. That is another project. There are those that are going to be planting the flowers and the trees. That is another project. Now, all these projects together aim at one project, which is to beautify Asaba. So that is what we call a program. When projects are interconnected to achieve a specific project objective. So that is a program. While a project, on the other hand, is just a temporary endeavor that has a beginning and an end to meet up a specified objective. Then operation, on the other hand, talks about a day-to-day or repetitive. It's talking about a day-to-day ongoing and repetitive management of a business. Now, it's telling you that when you set up this project, there's going to be a need to continue it. So it's going to be a day-to-day running, day-to-day management. You understand? So that's what operation is just talking about. Day-to-day running and management of a business. So that is the difference between a project and operation. A project is temporary to create a unique objective, while an operation is a day-to-day running or repetitive management of a business. Please apologize, this thing is slowing down. So just wait a minute for the next slide to pop up. Now I said a project and a strategic plan. Projects are authorized as a result of one or more of the following strategic objectives. Now, a project could be authorized, or you could embark on a project as a result of market demand. A market demand, for instance, maybe you are embarking. For instance, maybe you have a place where a demand for a particular commodity is on the increase. So you can take the opportunity to embark on such a projects. It could also be as a result of a business need or strategic opportunity. Now, for instance, like if you are conversant with the news, you will find out that there is a coronavirus in China. And now one of the ways this thing can spread is through air. So you find out that most people in China are wearing these face masks to cover their face. So which means the demand for face mask is high. There is a business need for face mask. So you can take that opportunity, go into that business and start producing those things, taking advantage. So that could be also a reason for a project to be embarked on. Customer request is another reason. There's a particular request for a commodity that is no supply. You can decide to go into that business as well, start a project on that demand and meet the demand. Technical advantages, legal requirements, and social needs are all reasons to embark on a project. Now, like we said, examples of project here is like a wedding program is an example of a project, a birthday party, another project, developing a new training program, establishing anything could be a project. Like we said, as long as it has a start time and an end time, it can to meet up a specific objective. That thing could be referred to as a project. Now, as a project management skill comprised of a set of specialized knowledge and experience required to reduce project risk and increase its success. Skills are very important. It is the skill, which is the knowledge that you have and the experience you've acquired that will help you to reduce project risk that are likely to lead to the success of that project. Also, tools. The tool is talking about the materials you are going to be using in the course of the project. Talking about the documents, template, registers, planning software, modeling, and all those things. Then the process. The process is talking about the things you are going to be managing in the process of carrying out that project. Now, this is what the project management comprises of. A set of skill, which is specialist knowledge, experience. Then tools, talking about the planning software, modeling software, register, all those materials that are going to be enabling you in the course of the project. Then you have series of processes. This is talking about management, the things you are going to be managing in regard to the project. You're going to be managing the time, you're going to be managing the cost, you're also going to be managing the quality, risk, and so many other things, as well as the scope. Now let's say related endeavors. So essentially type of endeavors are related to projects. They are often a hierarchy of strategy, plan, programs, project, and sub-project, in which a program consisting of several associated projects will contribute to the achievement of a strategic plan. Now, a portfolio. So a portfolio is more like it is a collection of projects or a program and other work that are grouped together to facilitate the effective management and work in order to fulfill the strategic business objective. Now, what the portfolio simply means is like a kind of a document or a program where several projects or programs are contained. The essence of this portfolio is for you to be able to manage and follow up the different projects. Let's take, for instance, like the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health can decide to embark on several projects. For instance, they can say, okay, there is a disease, like for example, I left Asaba, there was an issue of a Lassa fever. Now these people can say, okay, want to embark on this project to reduce this Lassa fever. Now in doing that, they are going to be having maybe a department that will be dealing with sensitization of people on that Lassa fever. They are going to be having a hospital that will be dealing on the treatment of those people. They are going to be having those that will be taking statistics of those that they have been able to cover and all that. So now, with all these programs and projects ongoing, even the Ministry of Health could also have another program to eliminate malnutrition in the country or in the state. Now that program will be ongoing, and there's also another one of Lassa fever. Different when you have a body that is embarking on different programs, all with a related or business objective. That is what a portfolio means. Now, while this program is ongoing on reducing Lassa fever, there's another one going on reducing malnutrition. There's another one taking care of sick, elderly, or people. Now, the essence of all this thing is the welfare of the people. Now, the project is the welfare of the people, to make the people feel better. Now, all these different projects and programs will be put into a portfolio to enable a strategic and effective management. So that's what the portfolio is all about. Different programs or projects being grouped together to facilitate effective management. So that's what the portfolio is talking about. Then you also have program. Now, inside a program or a portfolio, you may have different projects. Now, like we said, the intention of having a portfolio is for proper management. Take for instance, now in doing this, carrying out this Lassa fever, in resolving this Lassa fever issue, there are different series of projects ongoing in that regard. Now there is a department that is entitled with that is embodied with the sensitization of the individuals on that Lassa fever. There is another aspect that is maybe taking care of the treatment. There can also be another aspect that is following up that those that are treated are not showing any sign of return of those illnesses. Now, these are different programs, all with one aim. So each of these programs could have, each of these projects could have deliverables. Now, maybe the deliverables in the sensitization is going to be entailing how many people are we able to reach, how many areas are we able to cover, and all that. All those cannot be deliverable in project A. There may be project B where the treatment is taking place. How many people are we able to treat? How many people are responding to treatment? How many treatments were successful? All these will now be deliverable in project B, and then project C, and just like that. So at the end of this day, by putting all these programs into a portfolio, you are able to separate and manage effectively the various departments involved in that, in carrying out that project. So that's what the portfolio is actually talking about. Then you have what they call the project management office. Now, this project management office is the area that is involved with managing the project. These are the administrative aspects or administrative body of carrying out the project. And these are the areas where you see where documents are signed, administrative offices, and all that. All those things that you find that are related to the project, but they are in form of document. They are officials. What official document and are what you find in the project management office. While the project office is the office for those that are carrying out the project, those that are involved in the project per se. This is where you find those people. While those that are involved in the administrative aspect of the project, now, so the next thing we'll be looking at is the project management phase. So project phase, I need to say. So the project phase is a collection of logically related activities, usually resulting in completion of major deliverables. Now, what this is trying to say is talking about breaking down the project into phases for easy management as well. For instance, I give you an example of a project that's going on in Asaba, beautifying Asaba. Now, this project is going to entail different processes, different projects in one. Now, you are going to have those that will be taking control of the roads, tying roads and all that. Those that will be doing the drainage system, those that will be doing different things. Now, if you break these things into different phases. You break this entire project of beautifying Asaba into different phases for the reason of proper management. You understand? You break it down into the reason of proper management. Take for instance, if all these projects are going on at the same time, it becomes difficult to manage. It becomes difficult to put an eye in each of these things. But if you break them into phases, then you can be able to manage each of those phases. Now you say, okay, for instance, we are going to be starting with tying of the roads, because one of the things that entails in that project is that at the end, all the keke will no longer be moving on the main road, but they will be moving inside the main town. Inside the main town, not longer in the main roads. Now, which means inside the main town, the roads have to be tarred for the keke to be moving. So those are one of the things that the project will be entering. Now you say, okay, the first we are going to do is to try and tar this road. Then after tying the road, we now move on to the next project. Now, in tying the road first, you will be able to manage effectively that road tying aspect of it, that phase of the project to completion. Then after that, you move to the next phase. Okay, now let's do a drainage system. Then you do the drainage system, and now in doing that drainage system, because the gold phase is out and everything is now focused on the drainage system, you'll be able to manage it properly. So that's what the project phase is all to talk about. It's all about talking about breaking the project into phases for easy management. So that's one of the things that you should know. Project management phase, breaking down the project into phases for easy management. Now, say a project phase is characteristics. Each project phase is marked by completion of one or more deliverables. The conclusion of project phase is generally marked by a review of both key deliverables and project performance to date. This is done to determine the project should continue to the next phase and detect and correct error cost effectively. Note, phase end review are often called phase exit, stage gates, or kill point. Now, what this is trying to tell you is that each of these project phase is marked by a completion. Now, at the end of every phase, there's going to be a review. You say, okay, we are tying the road. At the end of that time of tying that road, there will be a review to know if everything was properly delivered the way it was meant to be delivered. And also, they are going to be assessing the performance of the project manager and the project process to that stage before they can then continue to say, okay, let's move to the next phase. That's what they say, determine the project should continue into the next phase and detect and correct error. So in the course of this review, if there is any form of error that was made, it will be corrected. It will be corrected as well before they will move to the next phase. So that's what the project phase is talking about. Then also you have the project life cycle. And this is talking about the project life cycle is a collection of general sequential project phases. Let's define the phase that connect the beginning of the project to its end. The sum of the phases of the project equal the project life cycle, with each phase having a specific type of work that allow the project to move toward the next phase of the project. Now, what this project life cycle is talking about is trying to tell you that all the phases should be interconnected to produce the general objective of that project. Now, one of the issues we are having before I left Asaba was that in coming at that beautification of Asaba, the people began to complain because they started breaking their stores, enforcing that they must put that for mica to beautify the front of their store. Now, the people were complaining that this should not be the first thing to be done, that they should have thought of tying the roads, doing a proper drainage system, and this aspect of destroying people's store just to put out for mica should be towards the last phase of the project. Now, this is what this is trying about. The project should be sequential. The first project should lead to the second project, and then to the third project, and at the end of all the phases, it should be leading to the specific objective. So it's going to be like a circle from phase 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to meet the objective. All this circle of phases summed up together is what is being referred to as the project life cycle. Take for instance, you want to build a house. Now to build a house, the first thing you have to do is to dig the foundation. The foundation now, before you can build, you have to dig the foundation, and then the next thing you raise the blocks, and then the next thing you go to the roof. So it's going to be following a process. It's going to be following a process, and that is what they meant by the project life cycle. The project life cycle normally defines what technical work should be done in each phase, e.g. in the work of the architect part of the definition phase or part of the execution phase, who should be involved. I want you to know about these phases and project life cycle is the father. All these things are things you know, or things you've already defined even before the project starts. Before the project starts, you already know what is going to be the phase 1, what is expected to be achieved before you move to stage 2, phase 2. You know what is expected for phase 2, what should be achieved. You move to phase 3, what is expected and what is achieved. So even before the project happens, you already know the life cycle of that project and everything that is expected and everything that has to be done. So by doing that project, you will know, okay, this phase, this is the person involved, these are the technical aspects of what are going to be done, this is everything that's going to be involved in this phase 1. Then to phase 2, this is what is going to be involved, these are the technical issues, these are the persons to carry out this phase 2, just like that. So you already know this even before the project starts. So that's what the project life cycle is talking about, a sequential circle of all the phases to lead to the particular project objective. And so the project life cycle. The project life cycle serves to define the beginning and the end of the project, like I've said before. Deliverables from the preceding phase are usually approved before work starts on the next phase. Now, before you move to the next phase, they are going to do their review and ensure that everything is delivered the way that it is expected before you move to the next phase. Now, said in some cases, there's what they call a subsequent. In some cases, there is a way whereby you fast track. Maybe you know that the risk level in moving to the next phase is not high. You can decide to overlook the review and begin the next phase. Without the review, you begin the next phase. That is what they call the fast tracking. But before you do that, you've already assessed and know that in moving to the next phase, the risk is acceptable. This is the acceptable risk, and then you move to the next phase without even waiting for the review to be done. So that is what they refer to as the fast tracking. Then also, say costing and staffing level are low at the start. This is talking about the project life cycle common characteristics. Say cost and staffing level are low at start and move higher towards the end. What they are trying to tell you is that in the project life cycle, at the beginning, the cost of and staffing level are usually low at the start and move higher towards the end. Now, when you begin a project, usually before you begin, you make your budget and say, okay, this project is going to take 5 million. But as this project goes on, you will find out that that 5 million that you budgeted in most cases will increase, maybe due to increase in price of materials, or maybe a situation whereby you've budgeted that maybe this particular stage is going to take 1 week, and due to some certain issues, it started on the 3rd day of that week, and now you still have to meet up with that same 1 week. So instead of taking the risk, you decided to employ more hands to make the work faster, to still meet up that week. Now you have involved more money. So at the end of that project, in the beginning, you find out that the estimates or the budget is low, but towards the end of the project, you find out that you've actually spent more. That's what they mean by the cost and staffing level are low at the start and move higher towards the end. Now, they also say the probability of successfully completing project is low at the beginning, higher towards the end as the project continues. Now, in carrying out a project, at the beginning, it always look like a Herculean task. It always look as if will this project be possible, especially those projects that are usually very enormous. You become scared if at all you can actually meet up with a project. Like the scenario I've been using, which is the beautification of Asaba. Now, before this project kick-started, about some few years ago, 3-4 years ago, the same project was also meant to take place to beautify Asaba. But the guy that was involved could not embark the project because he believed it was a Herculean task. As at that point, when he wanted to embark on the project, there was massive protest by keke and market women and all that, and it became a major challenge. And they felt this project will not be achievable, so they ended that project at that point. Years later, a woman was now appointed in that same position. The woman now takes on this project of defined as a brother man was supposed to do. This woman now came into the office, now took on the project and says she will carry it out. Now, just like the other man, there was protest, keke men were protesting, market women were protesting. This woman did not pay any attention. Instead, what she did was that she arrested, when the people came, she arrested some of them, threw them in prison. And when they saw that the agitation was having no weight, everybody calmed down and the project continued. And now that the project has continued, actually the beauty of Asaba is actually not showing, and the people have come to a situation whereby they now accept it that okay, let's give this person a chance and let's allow him to do the project. They are not seeing the benefit of the project. They are not seeing that actually Asaba is getting beautiful. So this is what they're trying to see. At the beginning, with the protests, with the agitation and everything, it will seem impossible. But once the project starts and people start seeing the benefits and you start moving towards the end, you begin to realize that the chances of completing this project is actually possible or higher. That's what they meant. At the beginning, the tendency or probability of successfully completing the project will be low, but as the project moves towards the end, when you begin to see that things are being achieved and things are actually working out, you begin to see that it is achievable towards the end. Then stakeholder influence is high at the beginning and progressively low as the project continues. Also, we can also use that same scenario in this aspect. Now, at the beginning of the project, now what is a stakeholder? Before we talk about it, what is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is anybody that is affected by a particular project. Anybody that the project is going to affect, be it a market woman, be it a roadside person, whosoever that this project affects is regarded as a stakeholder. Now, these Okada men and Keke men and market women that were protesting, they are all stakeholders in this beautification of Asaba project. Why? Because they are being affected by the project. Those people are referred to as the external stakeholders. They are what we also refer to as internal stakeholders. These internal stakeholders are referred to as the sponsors of the project, while the external stakeholders are those that are not directly involved with the project but are affected by the project. So all those market women and keke drivers that were protesting at the beginning are all stakeholders in the project. And at that beginning, you said their influence was high. They were disturbing, there were agitation, the whole project was looking impossible, their influence was high. But as the project progressed, they began to accept the project and their influence became low. So that is what the stakeholder influence high at the beginning is trying to talk about, and progressively lower as it continues. Then you have, this is just a general map showing the project life cycle. The initial phase, most of the costing and staffing level is low, and it moves higher towards the end of the project, and then it ends. So that's what it also talks about. So we are going to be ending here today. So we are going to be concluding with the fact that we said a project is anything that has a start and an end date. Some of the things we also said is that the scope, the ability to manage the scope, the time, and the budget is what makes you a project manager. Like I said, anything can be a project. Usually people have this mindset that a project, once some people who are not in this line of project management just believe that Once there is a project, it has to do with construction and all that. No, anything can be a project manager. I want you to know that as a project manager, what you are doing is management. You are not the one to go and start digging the foundation. You are not the one to start building the house. All you have to do is management. Your ability to manage the cost, the time, and the scope of that project, as well as the risk and other elements, is what makes you to be a project manager. And mind you, whatever has a beginning and the end, the start time and the finish time to meet up the specific objective is a project. And I'm going to leave you with a task. Now this task is that you are a project manager. You are a project manager. You are a project manager, or rather you are a husband. Now you want to prove, as a husband, you want to prove to your friends that your wife knows how to cook. And this wife you are talking about, your friends already know that this woman cannot cook. In fact, before you got married to her, some time back, they ate her food and it was terrible. And they have that notion that your wife is a terrible cook. But now you want to prove to your friends that your wife is now a perfect cook. But you know that your wife cannot cook. Your wife does not know how to cook. So how do you convince your friend that your wife can actually cook? The objective of this project is that by the time your friend comes and eats the food prepared by your wife, they will be leaving that home convinced that your wife can actually cook. But deep down, you know that your wife cannot cook. So as a project manager, how do you manage this project to meet up with the objective, which is convincing your friends that your wife, who does not know how to cook, can actually cook? So when we meet by 8 p.m., we are going to be discussing on this task. We are going to be giving me your opinion on how you intend to accomplish the objective of this project. So that will be our discussion today when we meet by 8 p.m. So tomorrow, or rather on Friday, we'll be talking about project stakeholders as well as project management processes. So we'll end here for today. I hope the lecture was clear enough. So if there is any question or anywhere you are not clear, when we meet by 8 p.m.